Hi. A little bit new to this, but I've decided to, start making YouTube videos for the simple fact for just wanting to talk. You know. Well, first let me introduce myself. I'm Naranja. I've decided to start doing YouTube videos for the simple fact of, well, I already said wanting to talk, but I just feel like talking is the best way for me to reduce stress, reduce my anxiety, just helps you out a lot of things. And I just kind of like talking. And so I thought, why not put a little bit of gameplay to this? Oh, nice dodge. And, I decided to start doing this instead. Let me tell you about myself for a little bit. I'm working to become a pharmacist tech. It's been pretty hard, but it's fulfilling. I like helping people, so it's been pretty nice. I do love reading. I love writing. Of course, I love video games. Video games has always been my hobby, a very passionate hobby for me ever since I've been a kid. I grew up with the Game Boy, grew up with Nintendo stuff, PlayStation, PSPs, you name it. I grew up with it, right? I didn't really think about it much at first, or didn't think about how comfortable my life is at first. Until like, ah, dang, nice. Until I had to go to the ER a couple days ago. It was kind of weird. It was like it was a pretty awful experience. I mean, no one wants to go to the ER, right? Especially me, since I was uninsured. I know. Just bum things, Should have had a job, but I didn't, and that, that's all the responsibility still lies on me, And when that happened, it was kind of scary. I genuinely thought I was going to die, and it scared the fuck out of me. Seriously, like it was an eye-opening experience. And after that, the first time, yes, they were unfortunately more than one time. All right, and yeah, it was just, the first time when I went there, it wasn't too bad. I mean, I was just having, you know, some abdominal pain. And, I thought it wasn't too bad. No, I thought if I just went to the ER, I can pay it off with this upcoming interview I'm having, or job and all that stuff. And so, I did, well, I haven't gotten the bill yet, but I landed the job, the tech and training. I thought, finally, my life is going to get better. I can pay for the treatment. I can apply for financial aid. I can do whatever I have to do to make this all better for myself, And when I told myself that, okay, this is just this is quite the game. Kind of a weird thing to talk about near-death experiences when when you just have people playing like that. But yeah, it was just weird. I mean, I thought I would, be able to live comfortably after that, not have to worry about anything anymore. Just, get better, clean my life up, and just move on, And then it was weird. Uh, I had, well, when I went to the ER, they told me it wasn't anything serious, that my blood work, everything was fine. Take these pills, stick to a diet, you know, I should be good. And, you know, and I was like, okay. You know, I'll listen to the nurses, the doctors, you know, do what I'm supposed to do, and I'll get better eventually. And then I got chest pain. Like, it was pretty bad. It was all over. And we immediately had to drive me to the, well, my family drove me to the ER, because, you know, paying for an ambulance uninsured, yeah, that is not gonna work, you know. And so we went to the ER again. They did some blood tests, some EKGs, you know, the good stuff to see what was wrong with me. And I don't really understand it all that well. So whoever's hearing this, I'm sure you probably have a better understanding than I do. But they said that my muscles were like having some like inflammation problems because every time I breathed, my chest was hurting. And so, you know, they thought, oh, it was probably my lungs, you know, because they were asking me other questions like, oh, does my back hurt when I breathe? And I said no. I mean, it was just my chest. And so, you know, they prescribed me ibuprofen, you know, and told me to take it for like the whole week and then to stop afterwards. And it was a weird time, you know. And when I was having those chest pains, I legit thought I was gonna die. There was nothing else to really think about, right? Because you know, you don't normally get chest pain for just doing nothing, right? Well, I mean, you do get chest pain for doing nothing, right? Because you don't exercise and all that stuff. But like, I did my best to exercise, right? Like indoors, right? Like just push-ups, sit-ups, wall sits, you know, all that jazz. You know, try to stick to a healthy diet because I knew what I was doing was, you know, unhealthy. And even then, you know, life threw a curveball at me, right? And so it was all confusing, you know, very depressing. And, you know, I legit thought I was going to die, right? I keep saying that. Sorry. I know no one wants to hear a random guy on the internet just be like, oh, you know, sympathy points, right? But, you know, I'm not doing it for well, yeah, I'm not doing it for sympathy. I'm just doing because, you know, I want to be open and talk about life, I guess. Or the experiences I went through. And I'm sure other people should do that too. Because, you know, no matter what happens, I'm sure other people would just like to talk about it, right? No, it doesn't really. I hope that wasn't too loud for anybody. But yeah, I'm not really taking this much seriously. I don't know if anybody can tell. I'm just kind of walking and talking. But yeah, it was surreal. And after that, I've come to appreciate life more in general. Just thinking about, you know, my dad or my siblings or my girlfriend, right? And it's just like, you know, what like what would happen to them? Like if this did really kill me, right? And so I've come to appreciate everybody more and everything I've done more, even if it's, you know, playing video games or recording a YouTube video, right? And just talking about experiences, right? I've come to enjoy my life more after all that, you know? And so all in all, just to say that, you know, people have it rough, right? Like no matter what happens, people are always going to have it rough, right? And it's always just how you perceive things. or how life goes, you know? And so, yeah, I just thought, you know, maybe sharing this experience would, you know, make people feel better, that, or make them feel like they can share their own, or just talk about it, you know? So yeah, that's why I decided to do this whole YouTube thing, just to share my thoughts. Maybe people can talk back to me, you know, and have a good conversation about life, or just whatever people's interests are. But yeah, I realized I didn't really talk about the pharmacy tech job all that much. Sorry, just, you know, didn't really think, you know, that I think that's the point of this. You know, I don't really think I just kind of just talk. Maybe that's a good side of me. Maybe it's bad. I don't really know. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I love life more, I guess. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I guess that's about everything. Alright, everyone. Have a wonderful day or night. And that's all. Goodbye, everybody.